Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's the Jade Gemini. This afternoon I am super excited to bring you a review of this guy right here. Well, wait a second, I've already reviewed this. Sorry, I am hyper excited to bring you a review of this guy right here. This is the Reylight X Vosteed Rook in titanium. So today I'm going to go over what I like, what I love, what I dislike, and if it applies, what is rubbish about this titanium EDC flashlight in front of us. Before we do that, let's get some size comparisons out of the way from some common EDC items and flashlights. So the first one, a common EDC item that you, with this knife, it's very common, very popular, so you've probably either held it or you own it or have owned it. This is, of course, the Benchmade Bug Out. Both open as well as closed. Just to keep that as a constant off to the side, next light we are going to take a look at is one of my favorite lights of all time. This is the brother, the Reylight Mini Pineapple Max in titanium. Double A, but it actually uses an 14800 or something like that, sorry. So it's a long, sort of welded together two double A's, essentially, but at 3.7 volts, so more capacity here. So yeah, and we'll continue to come back to this. Next is another light here. This is a light that I really like. This is the Olight Warrior Mini 3. So right around maybe a little hair longer than that standard sort of 18650, size Olight, your S2R2, your Baton 3, right? So you get an idea that this light is definitely a little shorter. Let's also get the width comparison between these lights, because this is like a common size head of a lot of Olights. So this is head to head. So as you can see, it's just a little bit larger, right? The blue's kind of throwing it off here, so I'll try and get them side by side, get a better idea. So it is a little larger in the head, but you're also packing 3 lights in that bad boy instead of just the one and the reflector. And here's tail to tail. So again, overall dimension, you are getting a little bit wider light all the way around. Olight does a great light at taking their 1800 batteries and just making them disappear in their lights. But again, this is not anything too shabby. So with all that, let's jump right in. So I've already reviewed the Rook in aluminum. And so I'm not going to go over so much of like outdoor shots. If you want it, you can go back, click on that video. Sorry. But we are going to get some beam shots out of the way. Overall, there's a lot to love about this light, but some things to like as well. So the first thing that I do like a lot is the fact that this does use a serviceable battery that is easy to open up. So just since this is a little bit tighter in the threads, which I actually do like, I'll just use this for example, but it works the same way. You just unscrew the head and you can throw in another battery in here. It also, another thing to like is it comes with its own rechargeable battery, USB Type-C, with a little indicator in the head that turns blue when it's done charging and is red while it is charging. So again, this is a light that you don't have to constantly swap out for new batteries that you throw away. And again, you can use a non-proprietary light like this Workos in both of these lights and screw it all the way down and turn it on and be back in action, as you can see. So that is one thing definitely to like a lot, and it comes with that rechargeable battery out of the box, not anything that you have to buy extra or separate. So that's one thing to like. Yeah, I don't know. This is just a perfect light, so that it's just basically all love, right? This is like my favorite EDC light as far as usability, high performance, right? Everything like that. This is sort of also an absolute favorite. Just the only thing is that it doesn't have as much power, but it has usable power, right? With this, and I love the design and I love the thinness, right? But the one thing is the specific to the battery that's in here. You could put 2 regular AA's, but it's not too bright. With this kind of solves the problems that you have more with this. It does use a more specific battery for, that's more specific to the flashlight enthusiast realm, you know, an 18350, but it's still common enough and becoming the new standard, right? That again, like I have this Workos laying around, you're going to find them more and more, right? As different lights come out. So the first thing that I love so much about this light is just the performance, as we were just speaking of it. It has an ultra floody, spill, right? But it has so much output, again, right around that sort of 1200 to 1000 lumens, right? That it can fully illuminate far away as well. Now, again, when you compare this to something like the regular, Reylight over here, it just has a lot smaller inner flood, which is here. While this has a lot more frosted flood, but it also has a very defined inner flood as well. So I feel like with a lot of TIR style lights like this, instead of reflector lights like this that actually have a mirrored chromed reflector, this just uses an optical lens to throw the light. The problem that I usually find with those is they have like a really small hot spot just right in the middle, and they just sort of gradually go out into less and less light. So you're always feeling like, wow, I'd be having to focus the light to get the light where I want it. With this, there's so much flood, just you can aim it in the direction and not even move, and you can kind of look and grab here and there, and it's just perfection for EDC, right? Just like I announced in this video. The other thing that I love so much about this design is just the ease and carryability of this specific size, right? This is that Goldilocks. It's a little shorter, but it's still full 4-finger grip in the hand. So again, just something absolutely to love. Something that I do love a lot about this one as well is this milled pocket clip that has been introduced. Not only do you get a little tritium slot if you wanted to add that, but you get this sort of Reylight symbol that you find in some older Reylights, like the pineapple full size, right? But it's bolted on with this universal clip size. So if you did want to run something really Gucci on here, like a steel flame skull or cross or something, koi fish, you could put this on here, and that would just take that already premiumness to the next level. Speaking of which, I think that's the biggest thing here, is the fact that this is everything in this light, which is practically perfect, but just taking up one extra inch of coolness because it is made out of uber nice premium titanium. And the thing I think I love most of all about this light, again, you get all the things that Reylights usually have. You get a glow-in-the-dark head, right, to find it at night. You get the tritium slots, which is super duper nice, right? You get the user UI, which I really like. You turn on to get into action, then you soft press to go through. Also, another thing that I do love is this is a little bit less finicky than older models. They've improved since the mini pineapple, right? There's just a little bit more resistance and a little bit more throw that has to be done to actuate those modes. So there's less of a chance that you accidentally make the UI not work, and then it's finicky, or it's going from medium to moonlight like a lot of the older lights did. Just really, really great. But back to what I was saying. This light takes what I was saying about this light to another level, where this is really sort of challenging those premium lights with this absolutely awesome, unique design that has these sort of like Star Wars vents and this sort of like chest piece, you know, like the Rook, right? Bottom here, and these just sort of scallops, as well as this waist that makes it easy to hold and actuate. You also get this deep part, so you can either use the tip of your thumb or you can just lay your finger in there and rock. There's so many usable and comfortable ways that you can hold this light. And it just ends up being perfect, but it feels an nth more special. You know, when you talk about the titanium lights that are in the 18350 range, usually this is kind of an exclusive club to play in, right? You're looking at like a light that has this sort of almost Chris Reeve tangible perfection is like OK Luma, right? And you can't get them. And then they also have from the DC0 that is a 14500, you know, a spicy AA. You get the the DC1. So the DC0, which is a tri-emitter titanium 18350 light. But, you know, again, these are super duper expensive, $500 something, $600 lights, right? You also have lights from people like Luluma, right, which are sort of custom lights, super expensive as well, right? There's other companies as well that I can't remember right now. And the thing is that, you know, they are really expensive, and some of them look good, right? They have just this sort of more utilitarian sort of, you know, milled out round circles that look really good, really attractive. Some of them, they really try to go crazy and have like vents, and there's one that even looks like a little like Nuka-Cola rocket, and it's hideous, right? And it's the sort of same, you know, 18350. To me, this not only looks gorgeous, has an attention to detail is perfect, like the way this is centered all the way around, one side isn't hanging off more than the other, the way this is centered perfectly. Now that may vary, to be honest, but I got lucky and got one that's perfect, right? Just, it looks amazing, and it is $130, which again is a lot for a light. But when you're comparing it to what you're getting in this range, this is really what Reylight does best. Ever since I picked up my first pineapple and then I got the mini pineapple, right? You can just feel it has, instead of a lot of other lights that are just more so of a tool, right? It just has this nth of soul, this sort of second cool, this is valuable more than the sum of its parts. And this is just that taken to a over 9,000 Super Saiyan level of specialness. This, to me, is the perfect light, period, right? For the sort of tasks that I do, the EDC, the Nichia 519A, which is my favorite emitter, right? You got 4000K, so it's soft on the eyes, but it still has more power than something maybe like a 2700, which is fun, but again, doesn't really accurately reproduce colors and doesn't really give as much performance. So you get that perfect balance, and with all that value, right? And with a customizable interface. I mean, this thing is just perfection. I just am so amazed that this is actually here, right? Like I thought it would have come, but it's actually here, right? And I just absolutely love this light. Now, as much as love as there is, I always want to keep things 100, right? And be transparent about certain things that I see. And there's some things to mildly dislike, right? So the first thing to just kind of mildly dislike here, well, there's very little, but again, the UI does have that same sort of squishiness. So some people might dislike this. I've gotten used to it, and I love this UI. I love the way the button feels. But again, it's this sort of squishiness, and there's this sort of long press, and I guess you could technically mess this up, right? So this could be something that could be frustrating. It's a simple UI interface, right? But, you know, and it is customizable as well. But again, I could see that would be frustrating to some. The next thing that I do dislike, and a little bit more annoying, right, is the fact that when I got this light, there's a big old scratch here from the factory. And again, this titanium is going to show scratches over time. It looks gorgeous with this milled finish, and even with those little micro scratches like this one, you know, also looks gorgeous as well. And it's starting to pick up a scratch or two, but no big deal. It looks amazing overall. But just something to keep in mind that, again, if you were getting a more premium light, right, you know, this might not be acceptable to come out. Again, it doesn't bother me. And I'm pretty particular about these things. But again, I'm in love with this light overall, so I'll take that. The other thing is that with Reylight, what you can sometimes find if you get the stonewash, they're like batch stonewash. So sometimes like this can look more ashy and dark in the stonewashing, and this look a little bit lighter in certain areas. They don't exactly match. They look like two separate pieces, right? And especially since you've got like 1 piece, 2 piece, and 3 pieces here, that can be something that could get frustrating. So just something to keep in mind. Also the fact, I actually like it now, but when I first got it, I was like, wait, bead blasted clip on this? But I like the sort of, you know, change it up. You know, the contrast is the word I'm thinking of. Also, this clip is something to love. It just goes in the pocket a lot easier than this like stronghold clip, which isn't bad. It's just really stiff. This just sort of like goes over so easy, and then it's whoop right in the pocket. Really, really nice. And like I said, you can hold it in so many different ways. There's nothing to dislike about this light at all. So I'm just going to wrap it up. This is going to be a little bit more of a straightforward video since I have reviewed the other one. And I'm kind of blabbering a little bit, so I'm sorry. But I absolutely love this light. This light is perfection. This is exactly what I wanted, right? You take this, which is one of my favorite lights of all time, and I still carry it often, right? It gets pocket time. But, you know, again, the lack of battery life as well as overall performance was really sort of met, you know, when this ended up coming out. And I do like this light still a lot, but I always wanted, you know, a little less of a tool and a little more of like a premium pocket jewelry. And here it is in all of its glory. So if you're looking at this light and you're wondering, hey, you know, should I get this or should I save up for one of these custom lights? I would honestly say this, right? You're getting just a tuned, beautiful flood emitter combo, right? Also, the other thing to love that is really important is that this light runs instead of like older lights where like a medium or high mode, they immediately kick down to like an unusable level. These will run until they get warm. I put this on my kitchen like this, tail standing it, and did something for like 20 minutes last night, and like the consistency of the brightness was there. So it's a usable, working, consistent brightness. It's just awesome. I cannot say enough good things about this, and I'm so stoked to finally have it. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize if I did, you know, again, blame her on a little bit. Absolutely. I'm thrilled about this. Of course, if you do have any questions, please leave them down below, as I love fellowshipping with you guys, as well as give a like and subscribe if you like this content, more EDC, you know, content with knives and flashlights and different things like that, gadgets. Of course, most importantly, I appreciate you taking time to watch this video, as there's so many amazing content creators you could be watching, and you've clicked on my little video over here. Of course, hope everybody has a great rest of your week and stay safe. Take care. Peace.